Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Sunday video where I look at the hottest Golden Age comics for the week. And I've gone back to eBay. These are all eBay sales, and it was interesting. There was an interesting week. Lots of really cool books. I was actually debating about trying to make it a very pre-code horror theme because Halloween's coming up, but there just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough really great uh, pre-code horror books to really justify it. So I figured, hey, I'll just do some of the better ones of the week. So let's get into it. The first one, number 10 on the list, is Venus, number 13. This is from Timely, 1951. It's a Bill Everett cover, and it has both Thor and Mars make an appearance. Now, Venus is an interesting title because it's one of those ones that could be pre-code horror because it started out as kind of a romance book, then it became like a superhero book, and then it became like a pre-code horror book. It was kind of all over the place. This was a .5 that sold, and it sold for $150. The reason it's a .5, it's missing its centerfold, which was a very common thing for Golden Age books. Um, I think this was a reasonable sale, but it's the only sale. So there's no previous sales for this grade. However, we can compare it to a 2.0 that sold, where a 2.0 sold for $248 in February of 2025. So it sounds like, oh, if you do the price per point, 2.0 should be like $600. But usually what happens in the low grades is you get price compression. So usually there's really not that much difference between a .5 and a 2.0 in terms of price. It did sell for 100 more for the 2.0, but usually get that kind of price compression where they're very similar in prices. So I think this was a reasonable sale. Maybe it could have gone for a little less, maybe closer to that $125, but I think it was a reasonable sale. There are 46 of these on the census, and 43 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 9 on the list is Black Cat Mystery number 33. This is from Harvey, 1952. It's a Lee Elias cover, and this is pre-code horror. This is a great one. Another title that went from, Black Cat, which was a superhero book, to pre-code horror. And this one is in the era of the pre-code horror genre. This is a great electrocution cover by Lee Elias. It's just a really cool cover. This was a 4.5 that sold, and it sold for $256. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in February of 2023, where it sold on Heritage for $600. That was a bit of a outlier sale. It just went a little crazy on Heritage. That can happen. You get these bidding wars that happen on Heritage, and that was a bit of an outlier. Typically, this book sells for around that $300 range in this grade. The last sale, for example, was in August of 2025, where it sold for $335. So this book is actually down from those prior records, down considerably, actually half from the big record, and even down about $100 from where it has been generally selling. So very weak sale for this book. The funny thing is, it was a buy it now. Somebody just wanted to sell it, I guess, and somebody snatched up a really great deal. There are 67 of these on the census, and 66 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list is Nickel Comics number 3. This is from Fawcett Publications, 1940. It's a Jack Binder cover, and it's a great Bullet Man cover. You got this Bullet Man swooping in to save the girl from, her car falling off, a broken train track, or road, actually. It's just a classic Bullet Man cover. Bullet Man's awesome. Now, this one was an interesting one because it was a low-grade copy. It was a 1.5 that sold, and it sold for $314. Now, this is the only sale in this grade. Again, an only sale. The FMV listed by Go Collect for this one is $75. So this is way above, like 4 times above FMV. And so I was like, is that a fair FMV? Yeah, it probably is a fair FMV because a 1.8 sold for $118 in February of 2025. So just a few months ago, a higher grade sold for a third of the price. So this was a very high sale for this book. I think somebody just overpaid. They didn't realize that this is actually a more affordable book. So there are 24 of these on the census, and 20 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Wonder Woman 28. This is from DC Comics, 1948. It's a H.G. Peter cover. And this is an interesting one because it's the first appearance of Wonder Woman's like rival team, I guess, a team that of villains working against Wonder Woman. It's a Villainy Inc. is the name of the team, and this is their first appearance as a team. So you got in the team are all of like Wonder Woman's villains. You got Blue Snowman, you got Evilus, Giganta, Queen Clea, Cheetah, Dr. Poison, Hypnota, and Mara. So all of those villains all up against Wonder Woman. And a lot of them are on the cover, which is really cool to see all the villains against Wonder Woman on the cover. Just a really cool first appearance, team appearance. This was a 4.5 that sold, and it sold for $350. The previous record for this book was set back in December of 2023, where it sold for $384. So slightly down from its prior records. At the time, December, that's actually probably I would have thought it would go even less back in 2023, strangely, because that was after the movie, where the movie didn't really perform that well, and Wonder Woman books were a bit weak. So this is a bit of a weak sale from prior week sales. Yeah, it is what it is. But it's still a cool book. There are 69 of these on the census, and 56 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 6 on the list is Captain Marvel Adventures, number 19. This is from Fawcett, 1943. It's a Mark Swayze cover, and it's a really cool book because it's a Christmas cover, which is always great. You got, Santa and, Captain Marvel and Mary Marvel there. But this is actually Mary Marvel's second appearance in comics. So kind of an extra bonus there to have her second appearance. I always think it's a great classic Christmas cover as well. This was another good sale, actually. So this was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $786. Which is up from the prior record, which was set back in December of 2022 for $675. So it's up about $100 from that prior record. So a strong sale for this book. There are 51 on the census, and 48 are Universal Blue Labels. Number 5 on the list is Beware, number 10. This is from Trojan Magazine, 1954. It's a Frank Frazetta and Sid Check cover. Frank Frazetta covers usually command big money, and this is a pre-code horror cover. So, and it has like girl in the red dress being pulled into the grave by zombies. What can't you love about this one? This is awesome. Now it also has inside hanging panels, so another pre-code horror kind of thing you want to collect. This was a 1.8 that sold, and it sold for $1,200. Now the previous record for this book was set back in November of 2021, where it sold for $960. And it was kind of just staying at that price for a while. Actually, there was the last sale for this book was set in November of 2022, so the year after that. where it sold for $950. It just was kind of hovering just under that $1,000 mark, and this finally it breaks the $1,000 mark. So it's up 20%. Nice strong sale for this book. Classic cover from Frank Frazetta. There are 79 of these on the census, and 73 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is Hickory, number 3. And this is from Quality Comics, 1950. It's a Harry Shaw cover, and it's a great, headlight cover, skiing cover, sexy girl cover. This is just a really cute one. Really great classic good girl art. This was an 8.0, so a really high grade copy of this book. And it sold for $1,225. Now that is up considerably from the prior record, which was set back in August of 2023, where a copy sold for $310. So it's up 4 times. Now that actually that doesn't make sense. I got so that was the previous record, but that record doesn't really make that much sense because there was a 4.0 that sold in the same year. A 4.0 that sold in the same year for $695 on July of 2023. So it was kind of one of those weird. There was a weird sale where one had just kind of flew under the radar, and it sold for cheap. But then, more sensible grade or sensible sale was a 4.0 for $695. So this would be kind of in line with what you would expect a 8.0 to sell for, around double the 4.0 price. So this is probably a pretty accurate, reasonable sale for this book in this grade. Very much a classic book. There are 11 of these on the census, and 11 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 on this list is Captain America Comics number 69. This is from Timely, 1948. It's actually a really interesting one because it has sort of like a Gulliver's Travels look to it, like with Captain America being bound and kind of dragged into a cave by a bunch of little people. But this is actually an interesting book and a key book because it's the first time you get the crossover between Captain America and Weird Tales. That is where Captain America becomes more of a horror title. And it only lasted a few more issues after it went to Weird Tales, but this is that crossover, first crossover for Captain America. This was a 3.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,300, which is up considerably from the previous record, which was set back in September of 2018, so 7 years ago, where it sold for $690. So it's up double from that prior record, but it's been quite a long time. This book doesn't sell that often, but this was a strong sale for it. And it just shows that Timely superhero books have been doing really, really well lately. Still hot. They still hot. Every time I see a Timely one, they break a new record. There are 50 of these on the census, and 47 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list is Phantom Lady number 18. This is from Fox Featured Syndicate, 1948. It's a Matt Baker cover, and it's a cool one because you got a very focused look at Phantom Lady. It's like a close-up look. She's kind of a giant on the cover, and she's holding 2 criminals in her hands. Just a really cool cover. Classic Matt Baker art as well. This was 3.5 that sold, and it sold for $2,150. Now, the previous record for this book actually is a sale that I know about. Now, if you look at the census, it'll say that there was a sale in October of 2022 for $1,800. But I bought a copy for $2,250. So My sale was the highest sale, but it was a off-market sale. So yeah, I overpaid, but you know what happens. Um, so yeah, so this was still a strong sale compared to the previous record, but weak compared to my sale. Um, so yeah, uh, recently though, the last sale for this book actually had dropped quite significantly, where it sold for $1,500 in March of 2024. So this book has been kind of up and down. Um, and I had to buy it when it was up. I bought it a few years ago. So annoying. And yeah, I thought I was getting a deal at the time because Matt Baker was going crazy. But yeah, this book still hasn't reached back to where I paid for it. So 2100 up about 10% from the previous record, down from my record. How can I say it any differently? I overpaid. I'm so annoyed. I'm kicking myself every time I see this one sell. There are 77 of these on the census, and 69 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 1 on the list is Batman number 10. This is from DC Comics, 1942. It's a Fred Ray and Jerry Robinson cover. And this one has kind of a cool, like, maybe Batman draft going on, like where they're, cartooning out Batman, and you got Batman and Robin standing there, with the giant pen. Just a kind of a cool cover. But it also has Catwoman making a new appearance in this comic with a new costume. Her costume when she first appeared was really, really bad. Like it was just like this stupid cat mask. And they're gradually giving her a better costume. It wasn't until much later that she actually gets the classic Catwoman costume that we associate with her. So they're making improvements at least. This was a 3.5 that sold, and it sold for $2,600, which is another strong sale. This is up from the previous record, which was set back in June of 2021, where it sold for $1,920. Now, this book has sold more recently, where the last sale for this book was set back in December of 2023, where it sold for $1,800. So this book is up like $800 from the last sale and up $700 from its all-time high. Very strong sale for this book, up 20%. Very strong sale. Yeah, there's 270 of these on the census, and 228 are Universal Blue Labels. So that's it. That's the top 10 for this week. I hope you enjoyed. And give me your feedback in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.